So we got a computer here and it's out of the box, as you can see, and it's not in the case, as you can definitely see, but this is all new modern up-to-date hardware parts. We've got an RX or RTX 2060 but NVIDIA there. We've got a new big quiet, I can't remember what it's called, it's Dark Rock Slim. No compromise, no silence, all that sort of stuff. It's super silent. I've got it under a Ryzen 24G AMD CPU, and this is a X470F Gaming STRIX by ASUS motherboard, or ASUS. And we've got a new Be Quiet power supply, and this is a 550 watt straight power, I think it is. I don't know where the box is for that. EVGA. Is it over there? Straight Power 11, that's what it's called. And then we've got Trident Z RAM sticks right here. Now, basically, whenever you buy computer components, regardless if it's custom auto cooling, non-custom auto cooling, you just need to test your parts before you put it in the case. When you put it in the case, it's like, oh, I got a lovely computer component. It's going to put them all together in the case, and it doesn't work. You've got a motherboard that's dead on arrival, graphics dead on arrival, CPU or like fans don't work, that's dead on arrival. I think I said motherboard dead on arrival, RAM's dead on arrival. And then you've got to figure out which is dead on arrival because it's not working properly. So the best thing is always to do everything outside the box. But we haven't got a power button. Where are we going to get a power button from? We'll use this, a screwdriver with a handle as well, keep it safe. Right, so if I look down here, so we come to this part here, and you've got like these very small, very hard to see what it says there. So this side's the speaker, and then at the top's power, and then you've got HD at the top, LED at the bottom, and reset at the bottom. So that will be those 3 pins, 2 pins, 2 pins, and 2 pins of the power. So we want the power, so we want to go up to the top of here. So look at your manual to see where your power button is, but if you haven't, just use the screwdriver. I mean, obviously, if you've got a manual, have a look where the power connector is, and then we can draw connections both to each pin, and this will turn it on. So if I put them like that, you can see there's power drawn to the motherboard now, and then when I want to turn it off, I just put my screwdriver end on there and hold it down for a matter of seconds, and then it will come on and off. But as you can see on the screen, it's loaded up on there. So this is what happens when you troubleshoot, because you need to check the memory stick. So we'll go through that really quickly. I've got no hard drive or SSD in there or nothing like that. I'm just doing everything the normal way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to power down the computer by the same procedure as what I did before. So I hold it there on the 2 ends, and I just hold it down like so, and then it will power down. There we go. So you just got to make contact, obviously, make sure, and then hold it down for 3 seconds, and it will turn off and then turn on quite easily. So the first thing you want to do is to check that your memory in one slot. So on these motherboards, not the professional grade motherboards that have got like 4 on one side and 4 on another, but we've got 4 RAM sticks. So if I turn this to the side a little bit there, you can see that I've got 2 RAM sticks in there. So normally I'll take this out, and what I'll do is I'll try each and every one of these slots to make sure. So I'll go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and then obviously when I use 2 RAM sticks, I'll do one, miss a gap, do one, miss a gap, and then vice versa, miss a gap, do one, miss a gap, do one. And then obviously put all the RAM sticks to populate it, depending on how many RAM sticks you got. I'll do that first, and then I'll make sure the CPU air cooler is running properly, the bearings are nice, everything in the air cooler. And then I'll also make sure that I've got the EPS connector at the back here is connected, so I can't really move that too much, but the EPS connector at the back there, which is 2 4-pin connectors, and that basically puts the power supply in the right chain of power. And then obviously get the graphics card, connect it to a display port or HDMI port or VGA port if you've got an old school one, and then I'll connect the pin to the side of the graphics card. So this is 8 pin, so put 8 pin in, or if it's a 6 pin, put 6 pin in. And yeah, that's how I test everything. And then after I've done that, I'll check the motherboard, check the power, the battery, to do the CMOS reset button to make sure I can reset everything back to where it was. And then I'll check for NVMe and then SSD and vice versa, to make sure everything's all right. I look on the board to make sure no pins are bent and stuff like that. Also on the CPU, you want to make sure that the CPU, that you can spin the CPU on the table faced up. So it means that the CPU is very flat and it will get good contact, and it will spread the thermal compound over the actual copper plate, or even what's it called? So the nickel plated back of the CPU cooler or copper, you want to make sure it's got a flat like distribution of the whole CPU coverage. If it's got a bit of a bend in there and it keeps spinning and spinning and spinning, it's not a good CPU that's been made properly. So you need to obviously send it back and make sure it's flat. Other people might sand it down, but if you sand it down, then you avoid your warranty. So that's another thing that you need to check when you put it into your CPU, into your CPU socket. So now I'm just going to turn it on, check for the last time, see if everything's all working. So that's how I get power drawn to the computer. RGBs are working. That's the last thing you should check, is your RGBs on your motherboard. But technically, if you paid for your computer for the RGBs, then you should check the RGBs as well at the same time as your high priority, which is not high priority. The high priority is making the computer work with the highest performance. And then you also go into the BIOS as well. You update the BIOS, make sure everything's working on the computer. You check the BIOS to see what BIOS you've got. So I've got BIOS 4024X64, and then the build date is July, September, I think, 2018. It's kind of backwards. And then I can see that my memory is not done correctly, because this is a 4266 megahertz RAM stick. So I need to obviously go into XMP or whatever it is on here and change it up. And also, if I want to overclock the CPU, I could do, but change everything, make sure everything works before you do so. If you like that review and you want to buy this CPU cooler or the Be Quiet power supply or any of the products that is listed in this video, then look in the link in the description down below. All everything's there if you want to buy anything. And also, this is the brand new Slim Rock CPU cooler. As you notice, it was super quiet. I really do like it. That's on the Ryzen chip. It works with Intel as well, so it's nice that you can go backwards compatible all the way to modern compatible as well. And then we've got a 550 watt power supply, and it was just trickling nice bit of voltage straight through with the RTX 2060. To be honest with you, it's quite a nice little gaming build. Not too bad on price as well. But anyway, if you want to know a little bit more about this CPU cooler or the power supply or any of the products, leave it in the comments down below, and I'll see you next one. Thanks for watching. Oh, don't forget to check out Aerocool as well, that's my other channel. Anyway, see you next time on Maxed Out or Aerocool. Anyway, see ya. Thanks. Bye.